Welcome back to Velsheen Rules. Some top Republican lawmakers are at the Department of Justice today for a chance to read a less redacted version of the Mueller report. But the 6 Democrats invited to read the report are refusing in protest, saying all of Congress should have access to the full unredacted report.
And Team Trump has been responding to the redacted report since its publication last week. Here's what President Trump had to say regarding impeachment just this morning.
Are you worried that your staff is ignoring your orders as the Mueller report portrays?
Nobody disagrees.
Are you worried about impeachment, Mr. President?
Not even a little bit.
His remarks come just one day after his personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, said it was, quote, okay that the Trump campaign used information released due to interference released because it was from a foreign government. You can get that information from a foreign government.
Any candidate in the whole world, in America, would take information negative
from a foreign source? From a hostile foreign source?
Who says it's even illegal? Who says it's even illegal? And does the information turn out to be false, by the way? There's nothing wrong with taking information from Russians.
There's nothing wrong with taking information.
It depends on where it came from. It depends on where it came from.
It came from Russia. That's
right. You know where it came from. Like, I don't understand what it depends where it came from. We know exactly where it came from. Glenn Kirshner is a former federal prosecutor and MSNBC legal analyst. He joins us now. And I guess, Glenn, the question is it wrong? Is it illegal? Is it immoral? Is it unethical? I don't even know how you parse this. I mean, Giuliani is saying that legality is the only thing that should matter.
I like all of the words you just used, Ali. It's wrong, it's illegal, it's immoral, it's unethical. Boiled down to its essence, I mean, there is a crime called receipt of stolen property. That's criminal justice 101. You cannot take something that was stolen by somebody else and appropriate it for your own use. I have to tell you, as former career law enforcement officers, we sit here and we can't believe what we hear tumbling out of Rudy Giuliani's mouth when he says something like, it's okay to use information that Russia hacked into U.S. databases to acquire, weaponize that information, and use it against our political opponents. You know, that's virtually Rudy Giuliani announcing, Russia, if you're listening, keep it up.
But here's the thing, Glenn. That's what President Trump said on the campaign trail, and it worked for him. Unless it's illegal, Rudy Giuliani is laughing all the way right back to his cherry pie at the White House. So where does wrongdoing actually count? Don McGahn is a perfect example. The chief White House counsel. People are saying this guy's a hero. He protected the American people. The president
didn't agree to commit a crime.
The president asked him to commit a crime, and he didn't do it. But what he also didn't do is report it at the time. He took the notes and then put them in a drawer in the event that he was going to get questioned by someone like Robert Mueller, and then he pulled them back out to protect himself. But that is not a whistleblower who was protecting the American people.
Right. It gets very dicey when you ask the question, what responsibility does a person have, for example, Don McGahn, to report the attempted wrongdoing of others? I'd like to go back to Ali's litany of words: wrong, immoral, unethical, improper. But I do think where it comes home to roost is, now that we know that Trump engaged in all sorts of, first, improper conduct, even if Bob Mueller couldn't quite conclude that his coordination and the campaign's coordination with Russia necessarily constituted a criminal conspiracy. We do know that moving forward, Trump committed multiple criminal offenses, obstruction of justice offenses, to impede the investigation into the question of conspiracy. So where it comes home to roost, Steph, it has to be because the OLC memo says you can't indict a sitting president because impeachment is the constitutional option available. There has to be the initiation of impeachment hearings if we are to address criminal conduct by a president.
Glenn, thank you for your commentary on this. Glenn Kirshner joining us. I think what part of the complaint is of the Democrats who didn't want to read this report today is that it's not fully redacted. they've given the Democrats access, the six senior Democrats, the six of them, to a report that's a little more redacted than the one we saw.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, though. Isn't something better than nothing? If they're being offered a bigger version of the report, more than they got last week, what would be the harm in seeing that and then say, but we still want more and we want the rest of Congress to see it?
It's a good point. Maybe we'll be able to ask them. Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.